We changed the name. We came up with Solar Hot Tub and Patio. It was kind of fun and exciting. New colors, new clothing, new everything else. The staff was excited. So, same people, same commitment to service, everything else. Nothing's changed, just new clothing. And we got lucky because it was kind of the Oilers colors anyway. So it worked out. We want to look after two things. One is I want to make sure that nobody out there, none of you or any of your friends or relatives that are using the hot tub ever get a rash. We want to make sure it's sanitized, because at the end of the day, that's the number one most important thing. You've got to have sanitizer, whether you're a chlorine person or a bromine person. In Canada, there's only two sanitizers. There's chlorine and there's bromine, and that's it. Okay, those are the only approved things. You can try other things. There's always some magic potions out there you can buy online on Amazon and everywhere else. But in terms of what's legally approved by Health Canada, it's chlorine or bromine. So that's the number one thing we want to do, keep it sanitized. And we're not going to talk a lot about that today. We're going to talk about the other part. As I always say, you want to protect your family and people using the hot tub and spa, but the second thing I want you to do is protect your investment. We've all made an investment here, correct? Right? Whether you've bought a fantasy spa, plug and play, 110 volt, you fill up, it was $49.99, or you bought the M9 from Bullfrog, right? It's an investment. And we want you to make sure that you're going to, be able to spend quality time in it and not have to call our service department. There's things that you can do as customers to lessen the chance of service issues. So let's talk about the key things to balancing. And again, for some of you, this might be a repeat. You might say, I've heard that before, and I hope you have, because that means that our staff, which by the way, just like this 20-year-old customer that's here tonight, please feel free to bring a water sample in, okay? Please feel free. It's a once-a-month thing. I say to people, don't abuse it. Don't come every 3 days. We love you, but we come once a month. That's okay. We'd love to make sure we'll put it to our spin lab. The first thing when it comes to balancing water, who here has heard of something called total alkalinity? Heard of that, total alkalinity before? And for some new people, you're kind of going, I've kind of heard of it, but I'm not sure. I've got a test done, and they gave me this printout thing. They emailed it to me. And by the way, you don't even have to do a photocopy or a printed version, because we can email it to you. And I like that because I can get it on my cell phone, my iPad, my laptop, my desktop, because I always lose paper. But if I can get it on that, I can always go back to it, tells you what to do. Let's talk about alkalinity. What is it? And by the way, people have asked me this question. They've come in our stores before and said, what if I was buying an alkalinity product that had a Beachcomber logo versus a Mineralux logo, can I combine the two? The answer is yes. Okay, remember I mentioned there's nothing in this company that I haven't tried before? Now, what you have to understand is that when you get a printout from Mineralux and it says, add a third of a cup of this, it's based on this concentration. So try to keep it in the same brand. Because if you switch brands, that's what people ask me the question, what if I went to Canadian Tire, Superstore, a big box store, and I bought this giant jug? Because I mean, people do that. I'm going to buy this giant jug of alkalinity increaser, because man, you got a deal. I got a coupon. You got it for $16. Man, I'm just pouring it in. What you have to understand is that stuff is about a quarter to a third the concentration. So you're adding a ton more to get the same result as from the spin lab in one of our 3 stores. So we're a big believer in less is more. Put less product in and get bigger bang for your buck. So let's talk about alkalinity. What is it? And alkalinity, by the way, still today is the number one thing that all of us, me included, because I'm a hot tub owner, need to be worried about in terms of balancing water, okay? Because the easiest way to explain alkalinity is to back up and talk about something called pH. Because we all heard of pH, right? Everyone's heard of pH, because that's an easy one, right? I say the easiest way to explain pH is like a bouncing ball. Because on Earth, we have something called gravity. We all know that, right? So if I drop this, what's going to happen? It's going to land somewhere, right? And what the somewhere is total alkalinity. So where total alkalinity should be is right where this table is, okay? And by the way, who knows what perfect alkalinity is? Or perfect, let's say the range where total alkalinity should be. Who knows? Not pH, total alkalinity. Who knows what it would be? It's in parts per million. Someone say 100 to 120. 120, did you say that? Okay, she said that. Okay, it's 100 to 120. So she's going to win a prize. It's called the Quick Drain. So what the Quick Drain is in 20 minutes you can drain your hot tub with this thing. Ooh. And by the way, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we do in promotions during these customer nights, because I've always told customers, and for 3+ decades, when you should buy your products is during one of our 3 to 4 customer appreciation nights a year. You can save up to 30%. Load up during the appreciation week, and by the way, The stuff doesn't go bags. I've heard that before. Like, what if I put this under the, is it bad in 6 months? The answer is no. Put it in a room temperature, dark place, so under the sink in the kitchen, whatever. Don't leave it outside in the sun. Don't let it freeze up. You can have it easily for 6 to 12 months. So I say, make sure you load up during these customer nights. And things like this is what people buy during customer night. What you do is you get this starting to pump, and in 20 minutes, it'll suck your hot tub dry. Crazy, eh? Versus the gravity-fed drain. So there you go. Thanks for the 100, 120. So alkalinity is the chair or the table that stops pH from dropping. Because on Earth we have gravity. If you do not adjust your alkalinity, your pH will continue to fall and it'll hit the floor. What is the floor? 0. So if your alkalinity is between 0 and 100, then guess what's going to happen to your pH? It's constantly going to drop. And for years, we still have, I guarantee on Saturday, someone will come in the store and say, Ashton, Cohen, whoever, I need a bigger bottle of this pH Plus. Because by the way, again, pH Plus if it's Beachcomber, and it's pH Plus if it's Mineralux. Same thing, okay? Same name, actually. And they'll say, I need a bigger bottle. And Ashton should say, well, why? Why do you need a bigger bottle? Like, what's wrong? Well, I went through this in like 2 weeks. I just keep pouring it in and pouring it in and pouring it in. Because guess what's happening? It's just falling back down again because the chair is way down there. What's the chair? Alkalinity. So we always say, bring your alkalinity up first, and then the pH will sit there. And you're going to go, this is ingenious. Wow. I said, if we really wanted, if we were about making money, we'd say, don't tell them about alkalinity because they're going to spend $100 a year on this pH stuff. It's going to be so good. So get your alkalinity in place. Your pH will sit there and go, this is unbelievable. It just never moves. It's awesome. So I say spend $1 on alkalinity increaser instead of $10 on this pH increaser. Okay? So that's alkalinity. That's why the first thing you get in a test will tell you to get your alkalinity in line. Let's talk about pH since we're on the subject. So obviously pH plus to raise it, and what's the opposite? Minus, right. Minus to lower it. What is the range that pH should be in?
7.2, 7.8.
7.2, look at that, 7.2 to 7.8. Okay. So back to pH, 7.2 to 7.8 is the range for pH. That's where you want to have it. Now, if your pH is below 7.2, your water is acidic. So just the word acid doesn't sound very good, does it? I say acid bad, okay? So if it's below 7.2, just imagine taking acid and pouring it onto your floor, pouring onto the grass. It's going to eat away at stuff. So right now, as we're sitting here, I guarantee there's someone in this room, hopefully not me, has their pH below 7.2. What's happening in your hot tub or spa or all-season pool is it's eating away at pumps, at heaters, at plumbing, all the metal parts in your tub. So we want to keep that pH up so you're not going to have that acid eating away at those things. That's why you want pH above 7.2. And by the way, in most cases in Alberta where we live, pH is going to normally go down. That's just the way it is, right? It's because of the products we put in and so on. Now, if pH is above 7.8, which happens once in a while, don't get me wrong, there are people out there that have pH a bit higher for different reasons, then your water is basic and it starts to stain things. You get staining on the acrylic and staining on some of your other metal parts, okay? Now, 7.5 is perfect. When I got in this business, you have to be 7.4 to 7.6. And the analytical people, like me, would go, oh boy, I'm magic potioning it, right? A little bit of plus, a little minus, got to get right in that range. Well, they spread it out now. They said that's not going to work because people are going to go crazy trying to get it figured out. So we kept the 7.2 to 7.8 as a range. 7.5 is perfect, and here is why. That's the pH of this gentleman's skin and the pH of that gentleman's eyes, 7.5. And for years, and think about when we were kids, that's a long time ago we were kids. We were kids going swimming and mom or dad would say, you're going to come out and your eyes are itchy. And they'd say, oh, the chlorine must have been high, Warren. And I'd say, okay, I didn't know any different, right? Mom, good try, but you were wrong. Had nothing to do with chlorine at all. The pool, at, wherever pool, Hardesty pool, wherever I was swimming, right? It was not that, it was the pH was off. That's why my eyes were itchy. That's why my skin was itchy a bit. So we want pH in line so you don't have itchy skin, itchy eyes, but most importantly, you don't get corrosion. And that is very important. That is like changing the oil in your car on a regular basis and keeping that engine running as long as possible without any issues. Last thing in balancing, number 3 is calcium hardness. Okay? And it's one of the forgotten balancing things. So people always worry about, yes, pH is number 1, or alkalinity is number 1, pH number 2, and we forget about hardness. Now, in hot tubs and spas, in hot water, Anybody here know what the hardness range should be?
Does it say 150 to 200?
Oh, very good.
I have it written down. That's why I
And you know what? Thanks for that, because that is a cheat sheet. So what's in his hand, you ready to put that up first, you can see. On the right-hand column of all those printouts, it actually gives you the parameters. So if you ever forget, you can go back to an old one we emailed you and said, what's it supposed to be at again? Yeah, it's 150 to 200. So we want hardness over 150, because a lot of people thought soft water was good. I've heard that before. Well, soft water is good. I go, no, soft water isn't good. It might feel good when you're in the hot tub or the spa or the all-season pool, but the downside is soft water is very corrosive, okay? It also foams more. I mean, people say, why is my hot tub foaming more than normal? They'll bring a sample in, and all of a sudden the hardness is at 80. They'll put some, here's your calcium hardness increaser for you Mineralex people. You Beachcomber water care customers, Protect. They'll raise it up to 180, whatever we've told them on the printout, and all of a sudden 2 days later the foaming's gone. And they go, oh, that was pretty easy. I just have to harden my water a bit. Okay? So less corrosive, doesn't foam as much, and also helps your chlorine and bromine to do the job better. So that's why we want hardness in range. Okay? All right. I want to talk about the next thing, filter cleaning. Now it's okay, you can be honest. You're not going to get in trouble for this. Any of you here not clean your filters, you just throw them out. You dispose of them. Put your hand up, because I do too.
I clean them for a bit, then I throw them out.
Right on. Okay, so you do start cleaning them still?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's good. So most people still do clean. And the reason I bring this up is because I'm not saying there's been a shift over the last decade or so, but I'm hearing more and more people saying, you know what, after 3 months, I just don't have the time. I'm busy. There's another game tomorrow night. I don't want to have to worry about it. I'd rather just not do it and throw it out. But most people today, and we know that from our customers, 80 to 90% still clean them, okay? And they are reusable in most cases, unless you have a specific brand of spa that we sell with a specific type of filter. Every other filter out there is cleanable, okay? So let's talk about this. We mentioned earlier, just before I kind of got started in the prelim, I mentioned things called good, better, best. That's a major philosophy of this company. And we actually have 3 different types of filter cleaners, okay? We have a good filter cleaner, a better filter cleaner, and what I believe and know is the best, because that's what I use. So, what's the good filter cleaner? Who here uses filter soap? Yes, filter soap. You ever heard of that, filter soap? So for those of you who do use it, what color is it? Blue, okay? For those of you who don't use it, it's blue, okay? So it's blue in color. And why, when they brought out filter soap, did they make it blue? Well, for years, okay, and I'm talking years and years, back 20 years ago, we had those Filter Bright bags. Remember those bags of Filter Bright we had for years, right? Which, by the way, is almost carbon copied in this other filter wash we'll talk about. That's why I brought it in. People would complain saying, you know what, we took the filter, we soaked it in the filter cleaner, okay? And back in the day, that filter cleaner used to be 24 hours. That's how much has changed in the last 10 to 20 years. Soak for 24 hours. We give it to one of the kids or the grandkids and say, go hose the filter off for grandpa, okay? And what do kids normally do? They'll start doing that. They'll go, what do you mean by hosing? Oh, just hose it like this and get all the cleaner out. And then all of a sudden, grandpa would walk away because he's gonna go mow the lawn or go see what somebody else, and then the water fight would start. He'd be squirting his sister, come back in 20 minutes, go, how did you do? Oh, really good, I cleaned it all off. It looked white, so you went, that looked okay, it looks nice and clean. Well, guess what? They didn't get all the filter cleaner out. And then, because by the way, all of you here have to have at least 2 sets of filters. Why? Because one clean set should be in right now, and the dirty ones are either being cleaned or they're drying off. Always have at least 2 sets. So what would happen is you'd set this back in the garage, set in the shed, the basement, and next month you go to put it in. You get all excited, oh, new filter going in. You take the dirty one out, you'd stick it in your pail, your filter cleaning flask, which we'll talk about here in a minute, and then you stick the one in. Say, let's have a hot tub, honey. Get a glass of wine. A Labatt's Blue, hard to believe I said they're still alive, those things. Get a Labatt's Blue, go have a hot tub, and all of a sudden the foam would start. Oh. You'd say, what is going on? We just put a brand new clean filter in. Well, guess what? It's full of filter cleaner, which is like soap. And now you got all this foam that you're gonna try to have to get out over the next 1 to 2 weeks, okay? So they made this blue in color, so then when when you soak it, it turns blue, and then you have to hose it off until you get all the blue up. Now here's the only negative I've heard, because by the way, those who use filter soap, how long should it soak? 1 hour, right on, 1 hour. You have one of these? New vacuum. I gotta show you this. This is good. This is exciting. One of the new vacuums. It's actually battery operated. So that one's okay, because you just put your thumb on and sucked it out. It's got a little knob here, turn it on, and it actually draws everything into this little cylinder right here. Same concept is there, right into there. There you go. Here's a new one for you. Yeah. There you go. Enjoy.
What is that called again?
It's called the Zephyr. All right, so what would happen is it's supposed to soak it for an hour. Well, guess what happens? You'd leave it in there, and again, the game's on. All of a sudden, oh my goodness, it's in double overtime. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I'll jinx it. Please don't send me any hate mail at warren@solerohottubs.ca, okay? Anyways, as long as we win double overtime, be happy. Anyways, and all of a sudden it would soak for 6 hours, 8 hours, 24 hours. And then you take the filter out, and you'd start to hose it off. And the blue would not come out. And you'd have to go and go and go. So if you soak it for more than an hour, it's gonna be tough to get the blue out. That's why it's still good cleaner, don't get me wrong. What's better filter cleaner? Filter Revive. And by the way, filter cleaner is really supposed to do two things. Because people would ask me, why do I clean the filters? Why don't I just hose them off? Just take a garden hose, get all the stuff out. Well, guess what's in that filter? Number one, there's minerals. Because by the way, if you don't believe there's minerals in water, get a water test done. Iron, copper, calcium, manganese, all those minerals in the water, and that gets into the paper of those filters. So there's an acid-based cleaner to pull the minerals out. The second thing that gets in is body oils, right? Body oils, shampoo, deodorant, makeup, sunscreen, because it's summer now, right? And that body oil gets into the pleats of those filters. So you need an alkaline-based filter cleaner to pull that out, okay? That's what you get in Filter Revive. Filter Revive, guess what? 15 minutes. 15 minutes. So it's even quicker, because it's all about, less is more, quicker, more efficient, speedier. Now, what's the best cleaner? Us old Filter Bright guys, those bags of Filter Bright, which I love, by the way. There's a customer actually that left to fill about a hot tub order. He said, I heard a chemical company blew up in the US a few years ago. Yeah, it was a company we used to use years ago in pools. Anyways, they made this great cleaner called Filter Bright, okay? And what it was a granular filter cleaner, which had everything that was in Filter Revive and had a little bit of chlorine in there. What that little bit of dichlor in there did is it whitened and bleached the filter, actually killed bacteria, so it was really cool. So I heard about this thing called the Pleco Spa Wash, and I said, okay, I'm gonna try it myself. I'm gonna give it to a bunch of my staff. We gave away, 20, 30 bags to customers, and I said, here's my card, I stapled it to it, and I said, I want you to try it. You're using another cleaner of ours, let me know what your thoughts were. I think only about 40 or 50% got back to me. They went, oh, I got a free cleaner, I gotta download it. Anyways, every single one of those people loved it, including myself and my staff, and we went back to this, and look how small and how much less product it is you're putting in. You basically cut the bag, put it in, soak it for 30 minutes, and you're done. Hose it off, finished. Works phenomenally well, okay? So that's your best cleaner, yes?
So does that have any color?
No, it's gonna be white. So the only thing you have to remember is give it a good rinsing. Now, in the summer it's easy because it's summer. Okay, people ask me, when we do this, we're gonna do another one of these nights in the fall at our West End store when it's getting into colder temperatures. I always say take it to the car wash. I found a couple car washes, I can hold it far enough back. I use that wand, I go get all the cleaner out. It takes me probably about a minute because it doesn't take very long with a power washer. And that's where this product comes in. A lot of people ask me, what are these filter flossers? Why do you guys have these things? They go, because that's just like the car wash at home. I stick this on my hose, and guess what this little thing does? It gets inside the pleats, because we all see what goes on in here, right?
Yeah.
And it goes right inside the pleats. Get all that stuff out, just like the car wash. So this little thing here is just like your car wash at home.
What's that called again?
It's called a filter flosser. Just like you're flossing your teeth at home, okay? Floss the teeth of your filter once a month when you clean it. Okay, so that's filter cleaning. Once a month is when you do your filter cleaning. So what I always did, and still do today, on Sundays, first Sunday of every month, I change my filter. Dirty one comes out, who cleans, and the clean one goes in. Back and forth, and that's a great segue into good, better, best here now. And then after about a year and a half, you start to see that the filter starts to get rough. It's paper, by the way. If you don't know what this is, it's actually paper. Okay, it's a high density paper, so eventually paper breaks down. It starts to get frayed. Some people, and by the way, who has a filter that looks like this? Put your hand up. Your filter looks like this? Okay, because some of you don't. Okay, and that's okay. It's the same concept. But what happens, the band starts to break, you start to get stuff in your pleats, the filter just doesn't come clean. And the beauty is it's not crazy expensive. And I tell you, that's one thing I've always loved about Beachcomber. I got to give them a lot of credit. They have the most economical filter in the industry. So for those people that use this size of filter, we came up with a good, better, best. Okay? What is good? We actually have a disposable. I went back in time. Okay, I said, okay, Warren, doesn't mean that, some of the old things don't get better, because I didn't like this filter 15 years ago. I tried it myself, my brother-in-law tried it out, and it was fraying everywhere. I had white, flaky stuff everywhere. I said, forget it. I'm not going to put this into our stores. I brought this in again about 6 months ago, tried it, gave it to some staff. Unbelievable. It's a 1 micron filter. Use it for 3 to 6 months. If you're me, it's 3 months. If you're a lighter user, which by the way, anybody know what an average user is of a hot tub or spa today during the week? You want to know the prize? I was kidding. What do you think? Yeah, 3 times a week, every other day. That's an average user, right? 3 to 4 times a week, 30 minutes, 15 minutes with the jets on, 15 minutes with the jets off, nice and quiet, right? Just sitting and relaxing. That's an average user, okay? So an average user can use this disposable filter for 6 months. Throw it out. $29.99. Did I just say that out loud?
Are you still spraying it down?
No, nothing. And it's amazing. And one of my staff is still using it because it's been less than 6 months for him. And he's like, he can't believe how good the filter is. It's 1 micron, so it's a lot denser and it's really collecting stuff. So this is a disposable. The standard filter for years was a 25 square foot, okay? And all that means is 25 square foot of pleats if you unravel all these pleats out. This is your standard filter, which has been used forever, okay? It's a better filter. The best filter is 50 square feet. Just double the amount of pleats. It means it's gonna filter twice as much stuff out of the water, okay? There's your good, better, best. All right, I wanna talk about a couple other things. What are this? Anybody using these things? Scum rays? Okay. Who's used the Zorby cube? That orange cube. Used to be blue, by the way, now it's orange, right? We all used it. They're awesome. Okay. I found this thing and I started using it and I went, man, I can't believe how good this is. Because the Zorbies were great, and I should have brought one up. For Zorbies, just an orange cube, if you haven't seen it, it floats around and eventually gets full of oils and sinks, right? Sinks, and you go, okay, throw it out, put a new one in. Okay? Work great, still out there, still sell thousands of them a year. They're awesome. They work really well. The beauty of these things is they're reusable. Okay? You get 2 in a package. Why do you want 2? Because when one is going out and getting clean, you got another one going in, right? It's not one, I can't get it. Solaris closed tonight or whatever. I got nothing in my hot tub or spa. Just put the new one in. So once a month, you pull it out, you clean it, okay? The instructions are inside, and then it's just dish soap and water, right? Have the other one in there, and then every month go back and forth. It's like a 2-year supply right here in my hand. It's pretty crazy, and it does an amazing job. What it also tells you what you should do, okay, is when you get out of the hot tub or spa, is take your actual scum ray and actually swim it around in the water, right? Just do this in the water and you'd be amazed the amount of oils and stuff it collects. Especially at times like this, because now is when more people are using lotions and suntan lotions and that type of stuff, so there's more of those oils in the water. Works unbelievably well. And we talked about things floating around. We have a couple of different scoops, and again, I went back in time. This one's actually an extended scoop, so it actually extends longer. There's some people that have hot tubs that are at the edge of a deck and they can't get to the end of it, so it extends. So the beauty of this, because not everybody has an actual skimmer. Remember I said hair, lint, leaves, grass, and bugs and the stuff floating around. They go, how do I get it out? Well, that's what this little skimmer does, is pull all this stuff that's floating around in your hot tub. Okay? So we've got these as well, and we have a hand scoop, so there's a hand scoop as well. How many of you use these things? Okay. Now, unfortunately, there's people in this room that can't because they have different types of filters. If you have a filter that has a basket in it, you can use these pre-filters. And I will tell you, there's been a lot of great things that have come into this industry since I started back in the early 90s. But I will tell you, this is still number one for me. It's basically a pre-filter sock that goes over the basket. And remember I said, there's stuff in the water I've never seen before. I'm thinking, where's this stuff coming from? Okay, and my kids are gone, so it's not like I blame my son and say, did you have a party when Dad was away last weekend? Nope, he doesn't live there anymore. Or maybe he's sneaking in, I don't know. Anyways, the beauty of this is that it collects all the grass, hair, lint, leaves, bugs that float around into this little sock. And I was saying, we talk about, once a week, if you go in there and you look at the amount of stuff in a week that'll get in here, it'll shock you. It'll shock you if you've never used it before. So there's 5 in a pack. They're fantastic. They're the best thing that ever happened to the hot tub spa business. How many people in this room have an ice swim?
Is that what we just bought?
Yeah. Well, that's good marketing. Yeah, I think we bought one. I don't know. Look, I think it looks like this.
I wish I had one.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to ask for your opinion. How's it been working?
I've only had to come for a week, so far so good.
Good, yeah, your app has been fine.
It's
So
good.
on his phone is his
Yeah.
app. So right now, if he opens his app and shows all of you, and I'm sure he's only had it for a week, so he's very proud of it. He'll show you all. And what it's going to do is and by the way, what it does is it shows you a list. There's his app. It shows you a list of things. It shows the temperature, water, your pH, your sanitizer, something called TDS. Who knows what TDS is? And what? Yeah, total dissolved solids. Very good. Anybody know what that actually is? No, not hardness. It's actually, the easy way to explain it, how old is your water? How much stuff is in your water, right? Chemical, mineral, body oil, dust, dirt, flies, midnight passion, water care product, fragrance, all that stuff in the water. That's what TDS is. Because once your TDS level gets 1,500, 1,800, 2,000, normally it's time to start thinking about draining. Which, by the way, in today's world, how often should we drain our hot tubs and spas now? 6 months. Every 6 months, so twice a year, right on. So that's normal. Spring, fall, spring, fall, spring, fall. Easy way to remember it. So the beauty of this monitor now, because I don't know about anybody here, but for 30-some years, I used something called, well, actually I didn't. I used a drop kit. Remember the old drop kits? The old OTO and phenol red, you're dropping the own titration drops and then mixing it up and matching these colors. And then we went to litmus strips. They were better, right? You dip the strip, and I say that because we sell them. We dip it in and you try to figure out what your pH is. And of course, we're guys, we like to guess, right? He never asks for directions, does he? Oh, no, heck no. Yeah. Honey, you've got Google Maps on your phone. Doesn't matter, I've been there before, he says. I don't need to ask for directions. So it's like pH. I used to laugh because customers would come in and I'd say, well, how's your water looking before we do a test? They go, oh, pretty good. How's your pH? Oh, fantastic. Just tested before we got here. We run through the lab, it's like 6.4. I said, well, what do you mean it was perfect? Well, it was kind of orangey. I said, well, that's close. Okay, and then we talked why pH is important, acid in your water, blah, blah, blah. So the beauty of this unit is it floats around your hot tub, and on the app, and on my app that's sitting over there, it tells you exactly what's going on in your hot tub. If something goes wrong and you are on holidays, okay, and it happens to be winter, and your temperature starts to drop, you'll get a signal. And it says, now your tub's at 96. Get on the phone, call Lisa in our service department and say, can Zach run out there? Can Brad or just take a look and see? Or call one of your kids, your grandkids, or neighbors, or whatever and say, we'll take a look because maybe the power's out or something weird's going on. But he'll tell you that. All in this little device, okay? We brought them in, it's over 6 months ago now. We tried them out in our stores for about 2 months. And every single day we tested in that lab. We said, let's make sure it's accurate, because what I don't want is something that's not accurate. I don't believe in it. I'll never, if it's off by 0.2 parts per million, we're not selling it. And the accuracy of these things, and actually Jason's back there, my self-store manager, talking to Kelly, who's the Sure Parts store manager. And I asked Jason today, I said, have you had a single complaint? He says, not one. We had a fellow online today that's buying one of us from our online store, and he sent an email saying, can you tell me about the warranty, this, that? And I was chatting with him on the chat line. I said, just so you know, we've sold hundreds of these now, and I don't want to jinx it because I'm an old sports guy, I'm superstitious, but I said, we have had none come back. And I know it's not going to be none forever because there's always going to be a problem, right? There's got to be something. But the one thing, this company, they're actually made in France, by the way. Kind of interesting, right? Think of where everything is made in today's world. A lot of things are made actually made in Europe, in France. And I bring them in from Colorado. So anyways, they're normally, the MSRP is $9.99, okay? We're selling them at $6.29 during our customer appreciation week. You'll never buy a test strip again in your life, ever. You'll never buy a test strip, you'll never test. In fact, Cohen will never have to test your water again because it's all right here. And every one of our stores is one over there running. You can ask one of the staff to show you the app and they'll show it to you and tell you what it's doing. So it works phenomenally well. Go ahead.
So does it need maintenance?
Yes, great question. So every 6 months to a year, there's a calibration kit. Okay, $29.99 is a calibration kit to calibrate, because there's sensors in the bottom of this, and you just recalibrate these. You can either bring it in and we can do it, or you can do it yourself. It's real simple.
How does it run on batteries, or how does it operate?
It's rechargeable.
Yeah, it's rechargeable.
It's rechargeable.
So you have
So it's
to,
easy.
you pull it out for a night or whatever.
Yeah, and it hasn't been, I mean, you've only had yours that long. Like, we've had people that have had it in over a month. And have you recharged Cohen since you've been here? I don't think so. Like, we've had them, and Cohen's been here now
months now.
about 6 weeks. Like, we
Yeah,
don't
they're
recharge
not
ours in the store. So they hold the charge for months and months. So anyways, we've got literature on it. If you have any questions, ask one of the staff. They work phenomenally well. They were putting them on special during customer appreciation. Okay. Oh, last thing. I just want to show you this and then ask questions. So here, remember we talked about saving money? This is, and I bring this up because I want everybody to save money. I believe less is more. So during these customer appreciation weeks, because we started it today and it runs through to Sunday, you purchase more, you save more, up to 30%.